I have my jokes on paper because if I don't, I'll get lost. Okay, being in elementary, I remember being in elementary and there was this girl one day, she came in crying, and it's so funny when if you live life, pay attention to things that happen around you, because things that happen around you are funny. I laugh at dumb stuff, but I like laughing at dumb stuff. To me, a lot of things are funny. If you fall down, I'll laugh at you. I'll help you up, but I'll be laughing a little bit because deep down inside, I'm like, man, that was funny. You see the way you felt? Things happen that's funny. So this girl came in crying off the playground, and one of her friends, I guess they got in an argument and said, nobody play with her, nobody be her friend. And so all the friends started ignoring her. So after recess, we came into class, and she came in, and she was crying. The teacher was like, what's wrong? And it was funny because she couldn't get her words out. People who cry, they can't get their words out to the very last word. So it was like, Laura, no, not to play with me. So you hear the very last word. Who did it? Laura. Because when you're crying, you get all choked up. And to me, I felt bad for the girl, but it was kind of funny. My brother, when he was little, and my brother, he was mean to me. We were nice to each other a couple times, but there was a couple times where we butted heads, and sometimes where he had a hard heart towards me. And so when bad things happened to him, I kind of got a little excited because I couldn't get him back myself. But you know, when things happen to him, I'm like, oh, I feel bad for him. Deep down inside, I was like, that's what you get. So one day we had BB guns. My parents bought us BB guns. We're out in the backyard and we're shooting birds off or we're trying to shoot birds off the line. And he was out there and he shot a bird. And he was happy. He was like, I got one. And it fell. And after it fell, I don't know what happened. Something changed his heart. He went to the bird and the bird was on the ground. And he was like, oh man, I hurt the bird. And I was like, well, yeah, you shot it. And so he picks it up and it's still alive. It wasn't dead. And so he felt bad for the bird. And I was like, wow, my brother, who kind of has a hard heart sometimes, he's feeling bad for our bird. You know, he cares for the bird more than me. And so he picked up this bird and he put it on the roof. He got a ladder, he put it on the roof, and he started feeding it berries and hoped that it would get better. And so he's over there like, man, are you okay? The bird's like, you shot me. Yeah. And so eventually I went up there and I looked what I was doing. What are you doing? Well, this bird's still alive, I'm trying to feed it. Oh, okay. And so eventually he fed it long enough and the bird just flew away. Right when I got across the fence, the neighbor shot it. How'd that happen? So the bird flew away. And then there was another time where he had a little frog. Our parents would go to the lake or two. I don't remember where it was because we were little, we didn't really care. It was a body of water somewhere. And there was a whole bunch of frogs jumping around. We would always collect a bunch of frogs and bring them home. And so he had this one frog, he brought it home, he went to the backyard, and he was playing with it. He put it down, he was watching it, he was following it. And then the bird, and then what he did, he was trying to scare the bird. After the bird got it, and it got away. And he came in kind of sad, and I was like, what happened? The bird took my frog. And I was like, oh, inside I was like, ha! That was funny. And so they took his bird, and he was like, oh, looked at it. Jack, come back. Okay. You guys remember that movie Titanic? That was a pretty funny scene. So the bird flew away. Now, it was funny, and we're going to get back to that bird later, because he's going to come back a little bit later. By the way, if I'm taking too long, let me know. Because I'll take longer. You ever swallow ice? When I was little, I went to my grandpa's ranch. He had a ranch out in the country. And it was, I don't know what kind of party it was. I didn't really care because I was little. So I just went where my parents took me. It had loud Mexican music. And one time I was drinking ice water. And I swallowed a big old chunk of ice. I was playing with it and I just swallowed it. And it was stuck. And I don't want to make a big old scene because, you know, guys or boys, you know, we don't want to look like wusses, and so we don't want to make a big scene. Now, girls swallow ice, they don't care. But me, I didn't want to make a big scene. I don't want isn't that the guy that we was paid last? So I didn't want to make a big scene. So I was like, trying to play cool, my eyes got all big. Couldn't shoot it out, couldn't swallow it, just stuck. One of my gangster cousins thought I was dogging him. What you looking at? He's like, what? I was like, So finally, I started getting a little worried. I was like, man, am I going to die? I was little. Yeah. she got it out, but I wonder what happened if I wouldn't have got it out. I probably would have cracked and acted like a girl. And my uncle comes over there, you okay? I'm already melted. So I'm trying to play it off. Yeah, I do this all the time. But I remember, nobody could hear me because the music was so loud. You know, man, we had the music loud. So it was really loud, so I was choking for a while. I thought I was going to die. It was crazy. How about fights at school? How many of you guys have fights at your school? Like almost every day. And you guys being Christian, you guys still run to the fights. There's a fight that happens, you run over there, trying to look at the fight. Somebody notices you, aren't you the person for that church? And you're like, move on the way. Aren't you the prayer warrior at our church? Even the people fighting stop and look, aren't you the prayer warrior at the church? And you're like, yeah, I'm just here to pray for you guys. Big way. It's funny because everyone runs to fight, no matter who you are. You can be the most dedicated person at your church, and there you are, a fight happens, and we're just attracted to fights. I go on a lot of campuses and speak at different Christian clubs. It's amazing how many teenagers kiss out in the open these days. Because, I mean, when I was in high school, we'd go somewhere out back, or go behind the backstop, or go on the benches, or somewhere where they're secluded. I was at a school the other day, and right in front of the school office, there's two teenagers, and they're kissing. They weren't just pecking. One of my teenagers said, we don't call it kissing anymore, we call it sucking each other's faces. Well, that's what they were doing. They were sucking each other's faces. And I was like, wow. And you can literally go like that. And I was like, right in front of the teacher's office, and they're on the bench, and poor guy, there's someone sitting next to him. I don't know what he's waiting for, but there's two people making out, he's just sitting next to him. And I'm like, wow, teenagers these days, you guys get crazy, man. I don't know what you guys have going on in your heads. I don't like doctors. I go to a doctor and I always feel like they're going to tell me something's wrong with me. When I was in high school, I was in the weight room one day. I played football. I was in the weight room watching my teammates playing ping pong, and all of a sudden I just passed out. Boom. And I hit my head on a bar. And so my mom came pick me up and took me to the doctors. And they took blood tests, and they said, you're borderline anemic. And I was like, well, I am now. I didn't know that before. You know, I feel like every time I go to the doctor, I feel like they're going to reveal something to me that I don't want to know. And so I'd rather not go to the doctor. I'll be at the doctor, scratching my head. I maybe fell down at football practice, and they're like, you got a broken arm. Well, I do now. And your right leg's broken. Well, now it is now. You know, I'm always afraid what they're going to say. My teacher, my son, he was diagnosed with mixed executive expressive and language disorder, some long term, which pretty much meant that he wasn't receiving information right, so he wasn't able to speak it right. And he had this thing, a lot of my youth would probably remember, could hop like a frog everywhere. And so we'd be at the store shopping, and whenever we moved, he'd get down and start hopping everywhere for hours. And we're like, Timothy, how do you do that? And he's just looking, hopping. And I'm like, man, I wouldn't be able to hop that much. And so one of his teachers said that's his way of coping. And we would kind of get mad at him because he was doing it in restaurants, so jump all over the place, we're trying to sit down, people are eating, he's jumping around like a frog. And so the teacher said that's what he does when he doesn't feel comfortable. If he's in a place where he's not comfortable or he doesn't know his surrounding, he'll just get down and start hopping. I was like, I never heard of that. You know, I've heard of, you know, when I get nervous, I might bite my nails or my palms might get sweaty. I couldn't imagine, you know, out in the yard talking to Brother Mike, and we're both nervous, you know, I wonder if it's going to go good, and I look at Brother Mike, I'm like, man, I feel comfortable around here. And then little do I know that Mike had a problem too, he's like, me neither. And he starts chewing on my head, and my brother comes out, no,